All right, we're back in the car. You know what that means. We're going to review a recently released film, and this time it is Tron Ares, released just this past week. It was directed by, I believe this is pronounced Joachim Ronning. I could be wrong about that. If I am, I'm very sorry. Screenplay by Jesse Wigutow. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong as well. And a story by Jesse Wigutow and Dan DiGilio? What are the names we've got attached to this project? This is absolutely insane. It stars Jared Leto, Greta Lee, Jeff Bridges, I guess, because he made a lot of money even though he's barely in it, Evan Peters, Jodie Turner-Smith, and I'm going to include Gillian Anderson in this as well. Mm-hmm. So as always in the car, we're going to begin with a brief, non-spoiler review. Shade, what did you think of Tron Ares?
Underwhelming and slightly disappointing. Tron's great. I love Tron Legacy. As y'all know, if you have seen the Tron Legacy episode, I was having some pretty high hopes for this film, and it bombshelled, in my opinion. Of course, there are some really good aspects of this film, though, that I did like a lot, but there was a lot where it lacked. And that was very frustrating. So.
Yeah, no, I definitely have to agree. I did come into this with not expecting a lot, but I was certainly hoping for a lot, and it definitely did not live up to... Well, it lived up to what I expected was going to happen and not what I wanted it to be. It is not very fun. Nope. Oh, that's a lie. It's fun. It's fun. It's just not incredibly well made. It looks beautiful. The soundtrack of Nine Inch Nails is amazing. Most of the acting is not great. Yeah. The writing is horrendous. Yeah. We talked about before, like, the general concept of a being coming into the real world from the grid is not quite what we would have wanted to have seen, but I was willing at least to hear it out and see what happened. And unfortunately, yeah, this did not quite live up to what I wanted it to be.
Nope. In my opinion, their approach to that wasn't the greatest. I feel like there could have been a better approach to bringing the grid to life. As risky as it was, in my opinion, to do that, I think they should have just more or less stuck in the grid for the whole movie. And it was cool. That's going
to be a spoiler.
Yeah, this is our spoiler.
It's probably technically not, but we're going to go ahead and avoid that anyway. No, I think I was really hoping that the movie would have at least a few saving graces, and there really wasn't. Like we talked about, the effects were good. It was fun to listen to, man. But yeah, other than that, I was hoping for at least one phenomenal performance from an actor. It was particularly somebody from the main cast list. I didn't exactly have high hopes for Jared Leto, but I was hoping for something really good from Greta Lee. And unfortunately, I don't even think we got that from her. Jeff Bridges was phoning it in. He was just getting the money, which I absolutely respect for him. I respect. But yeah, no, by and large, it's one of those movies that I would be surprised if they made a sequel. Yeah. In the next 10 years, in the next 15 years.
It'll probably be sooner.
But if they were to do that, then depending on how closely related it is to this one, I may or may not do a rewatch. I
will definitely do a rewatch. It's hard to look at you this close to you.
I know. That's why I'm like barely turning my head.
I know.
But no, I think I will watch this at least one more time when it eventually does come onto Disney Plus and when it does start streaming. But I don't know. Like you said, I think it's got, and this is something I said about the other two Tron movies as well, I do think there is the bones of a good story and a good movie here, but really it ultimately failed in execution.
Yeah. There's so much potential with this. Of course, we've talked about this before, how much potential there is with this franchise, and they did not hit the mark. I'm hoping that if they do a sequel, which is possible, of course, with the ending.
He said doo-doo.
Doo-doo. You child.
And I will say really quick before you go, a potential sequel and what we would like to see a sequel, that is going to be the topic of discussion in our Patreon exclusive after the end of the spoiler-filled review. So if you want to hear that, you're going to have to go to patreon.com/newwavenerds.
Please. please.
Stop saying please.
Sorry.
It gets really awkward when you do that.
It's nice to ask. But yeah. Very underwhelming. Wish there was a little more. Wish there was a little more effort with dialogue and the writing. That's where it lacks the most.
For sure. But to talk about the rest, I think it's clear we both kind of really want to get into spoilers so we can dig a little deeper into this movie. So I think we're going to go ahead and do that. We will see you guys back in the studio. Now let's roll the intro.
Tronny boy.
The grid is calling. Oh, Tronny boy. All right, so we're back in the studio. It's time for the spoiler-filled review. Shayde, where do you want to start?
Oh, man.
Okay, if you're going to think, I'm going to just go ahead and start because I've got something you're like, oh, Nelly, I don't know.
Nelly.
The place that I want to start is I was pleasantly surprised with the amount of time that we actually spent on the grid. Well, on various forms of the grid, since we're in the spoiler point of view. Spoiler portion of the review. I don't know why I said point of view. That's one thing that we talked about being worried about in the original Tron review, and I think a little bit in Legacy, but we mostly talked about it in the first Tron. The grid, the aesthetic of this digital landscape is easily the most interesting part of the entire franchise, of the entire universe and world. And so when they announced that was really loud, when they announced that this movie was going to focus on bringing a character from the grid to the real world, I think both you, me, and Dad were all like, I don't know if I really like that. And so I'm glad that we got to spend a little bit less than half, but still a chunk of time on the forms of the grid.
Yeah, I agree. We go into two different grids in this film. The first grid we go in, Ares's
The Dillinger server.
I was just gonna say the Dillinger server instead of Ares's. The Dillinger server grid is really cool, and I love the things that they attacked in there, like the water. I thought that was pretty cool that we actually got to see how the water is interacted with.
Like it's pixels. Yeah. I thought that was a fun detail.
Shoot, I guess we did see that in Legacy, but
we saw them in all of them.
Oh yeah, we did.
But it was cool to see it with 2025
it was
technology.
Cool. Specifically the pixels in her hands. There's a scene where our girl
Greta Lee. That's the actress's name. The character I think is. I'll look it up. You keep talking.
Our lead character. They're on a really cool light
jet ski.
So dope. Really cool light jet ski. Surfing it away. There's water, like pixel waters rushing through, and she catches some of the pixels in her hands, and the animation for it was very cool, and I like the way it looked.
Yeah, and I like the way that they definitely spent time being able to see both grids was really interesting because you got to see the way that the different companies, stylized their thing. Like the Encom grid is obviously much closer to what we saw in Legacy.
Yes.
It's this more almost vaguely utopian idea. It's all blue and nice, and even it's sunny and shiny and sunny in the world. Whereas the Dillinger grid it's dark and it's all focused on the color scheme of red, and there's no sun whatsoever.
It looks like Mustafar,
I guess, except for the fact that there's no lava.
Yeah, there's no lava, but like the sky and stuff. It reminded me of Mustafar. I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. I really like the Dillinger grid, but I loved that we went back and attacked the original grid from the 80s. That was really cool. They even did the black and white on his face. They made his face look gray.
Yeah, they changed like the LUT or whatever.
Yeah, they made his face look gray. They kept all the. It looked like it was straight from the 80s movie. It still looked like it was made in the 80s. And I like that they kept it that way. I thought that was really cool. I like that they didn't really change it too much, even when he hopped up in that light cycle.
Mm-hmm. It was a little bit I do like the fact that, they definitely didn't
really update the universe whatsoever. The classic grid feels like the classic grid, like you said, from the light cycle to the aesthetic, to everything else involved. It was jarring, though, to see Jared Leto's like updated, fancy new 2025 Tron suit juxtaposed against the 1980s landscape.
Yeah.
It was a little bit weird to see, but I think they mitigated it as best they could without giving him a completely new outfit. Just like you said, by changing the LUT and making it so he looked closer to the way all of the programs and Kevin Flynn did in the original one.
Yeah,
but it was a little jarring.
It was a little weird seeing those two clash. I just thought that that was so cool, little cool callback. My question is though, so that is just a program of Kevin Flynn, right? That isn't actually Kevin Flynn.
Because we see him materialize, which we don't see happen in Legacy or obviously in the first one. So my understanding is, yes, this is like a fragment of Kevin Flynn that has been stored in this floppy disk or this server or whatever, which does beg the question. It's weird, and I don't know, like, when Ares asks him, are you Flynn? And Jeff Bridges replies, I'm just here because you're here. Is it just like a program that activates upon somebody else entering the thing? It was a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
It was a weird line. I feel like it just could have easily have been like, I'm just an original program, designed by Flynn himself, and just had that, and then not had this really awkward moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. One thing that I would have liked to explore more is what's the program called again?
Who?
Or the grid, the first grid we see in this.
The Dillinger one?
The Dillinger grid, or the Dillinger thing, yeah.
It's the name of like the main bad guy from the
I
first
know,
one, and he's got a part in the second one.
I know.
They said it like 8 times in the movie. I'm just
I know. No, the Dillinger grid. That one I would have liked to see a little more of. Yeah, I would have liked to explore a little more than just going through one specific section to get to a certain area. I would have liked to seen a little bit more of the actual grid, because we're only, when we're in there, we're stuck in one room, and then that one way of water all the way up until the
transfer portal. Yeah, but in the Dillinger grid, you noticeably do not hold the identity disc up.
That's right.
You go down a hole, which I think is also interesting because it's like there's that imagery of if you're exiting the Dillinger grid, you have to go down. But by lifting the disc up in the original grid and in the NCOM grid, it's like you're rising up to the real world, which is kind of interesting in and of itself. I'm actually of the opposite opinion. If we're going to see more of any grid, I would have liked to have seen more of the NCOM grid.
Okay.
I think it would have been interesting and would have made for a little bit better character development for Ares, maybe, if we got to see him spend time in the quote-unquote more utopian grid, and maybe that's where he starts to realize, Dillinger doesn't think of us as anything. We're 100% expendable, as they say a multitude of times. It is a little bit fast, and I don't really like the development for Ares. It's weird when he suddenly decides to go against the programming.
That's true.
I guess.
Yeah, no, that's true. I like the way though that when he is in that grid, and
which one? We've had 3 grids here. We got to specify.
Sorry, yeah, the NCOM grid. When he's in the NCOM grid and he starts seeing like the memories and all the stuff online about
when he's stealing the file for Eve Kim.
Yeah, stealing the file for Eve Kim. I thought it was really cool the way he started gaining sympathy for her right off the bat. Yeah.
I don't know if it's really sympathy, because at that moment I don't think he really has the ability to feel that. It's more, to me, it seems more like this is the beginning of it. I feel like he never actually feels sympathy, because noticeably when they exit out into the real world towards the end of the movie, when they're talking about it, he's not sympathetic at all. He's just like, oh, so your whole career is based off the fact that your
yeah.
sister died and she's younger than you. And he doesn't even say anything like that's bad or that's tough. He's just like this. He's still very, well, he's an artificial intelligence. He still doesn't have the capacity for human emotion. To me, when he's first accessing the files for Eve Kim and when he's looking at them afterwards, it's less sympathy and more of like curiosity. Because that's obviously something he's never experienced. Eve Kim has lived a life, a life where she's been able to do things, where she's had birthday parties and Halloween parties and hosted a TED Talk and so on and so forth. Whereas Ares is just, well, to use that Tom Cruise movie, it's just live, die, repeat. And he's not even really living. It's resoluted. What is it? I don't know. Created, die, repeat.
Okay. Reincarnated.
No, because I think reincarnated also sort of implies life.
Okay. Well, I was just thinking about R words.
No, I mean it was a good try. I don't know. Anyways,
yeah. Yeah, I agree.
That's just my personal reading. I could be wrong about that, but
I can see that. I can, yeah. I forgot about that scene. He is pretty unsympathetic.
I think what they're trying to go for is they're trying to make it seem like he's building up this sympathy, but it's completely disregarded by like the conversation later. I think they're trying to make it seem like he's slowly becoming a more person, and that begins when he accesses the file. But I don't think it comes across, partially because Jared Leto is just not a great actor, at least in this movie. Yeah. He's not doing very good work here. And it's not entirely his fault because the writing for that character, I think, is really bad. Yeah,
the writing, they're lacking pretty bad in the writing. And it sucked. It sucked to listen to, and it sucked to see sometimes, like you and me were cracking up pretty hard in there about the parking garage scene.
Yes. That was pretty silly.
That was so funny, and it shouldn't have been funny. It should have been intense. But it felt like that scene felt like it belonged in a comedy.
Yeah. Well, I think part of the problem for that is because she spent so long. She being Jodie Turner-Smith's program Athena, she spent so long running up the levels of the parking garage, and we kept cutting back to her. If it had been the thing where she was like one level down, and so there was actually like a level of intensity, then that would have been something. But it's just like she's running up the steps for like 5 minutes while Greta Lee is like trying to get the light cycle to work. It was, I think the cuts maybe could have been changed a little bit, and it wouldn't have been a funny scene.
Yeah. No, it didn't belong. That scene did not belong. They should have changed that up. Very funny. But yeah, no, it just wasn't written well. There's a part where Dillinger, I can't remember. I think it is when she actually gets the light cycle. I think he does this like not too long after this scene, but she gets the light cycle, and Dillinger, he's just standing there. This made me laugh pretty hard, but he was just like, "What?"
Yes, dude, I cracked up when that happened.
I was like, "No way, bro."
Yeah, that Dillinger had in Julian Dillinger, played by Evan Peters. Evan Peters is actually, obviously like a really good actor.
He's a phenomenal actor.
In this movie, I feel like most of his delivery was actually pretty solid, but there were a few specific moments where I was like, this is bad. And part of it was obviously, like we mentioned, the writing. Like in the very beginning, this is after they have the first meeting with Ares or whatever, where Evan Peters is talking to his mom, Elizabeth Dillinger, played by Gillian Anderson. And she's like, it's when she's confronting him about lying to the investors or whatever. And his dialogue is literally like, it's only a problem unless we get the permanence code. Once we get the permanence code, everybody's fine. Whoever has the permanence code rules the world. I was like, oh my God. This is the definition of exposition dump for a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there were a couple different expo dumps in the movie. One that really bothered me with Greta Lee was also in the beginning. It was like 5 minutes after we just had this conversation between Julie and Elizabeth. It's when they're in Alaska or whatever, they first get the permanence code. And, the friend, Arturo Castro, who plays Seth Flores, is like, what is that? And Greta Lee goes, if this is what I think it is, then it's the permanence code. I was like, okay, we could have put 2 and 2 together if you just said something like, if this is what I think it is, or if she just said, this is what we're looking for, or something like that.
Yeah.
It was just so expo dumpy.
There was another scene where I looked over at you and you just were like, oh my God, you know, and I was like, oh, okay. It was when we're in NCOM and they're like Greta Lee is explaining everything.
Oh my
and
God.
I looked over at you and you were just like, oh my God.
That made me so mad. Because, yeah, so this is like right at the beginning of the third act. This is when things are supposed to be like getting kind of crazy. You know, like there's supposed to be a feeling of, okay, we sort of know what's supposed to happen, but we don't know what is actually going to happen. And yeah, Greta Lee is over there and she's like, okay, we got to send Ares into the thing. Once we do that, or no, I think this is when Ares is gone.
Yeah.
Because she's described, it's after the particle gun or whatever they call it has been destroyed. And Ajay Singh, the CTO for NCOM, comes in and she's like, okay, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do this and that. And while you do that, I'm going to go do this. And then the scene even ends with her walking away and being like, I'm going to give you guys as much time as I can. And then her next line is, I'm going to go stall him. I was like, you just said the exact same thing twice. Oh, it made me really mad.
Yeah.
This is a script that like, no disrespect to anybody involved with it, because obviously like nobody sets out to make something that's bad or poorly written. This needed to go through, it either went through too many drafts or it needed to go through another draft.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to tell which, but yeah, like so much of the dialogue here is so bland and boring and there's so many expo dumps, and I'm like, do you really think we're so stupid that we couldn't put 2 and 2 together?
Yeah. Yeah.
It really irritated me.
Some good things about the movie. That triangular identity disc.
I did not like that.
Really?
I thought that was stupid.
So cool.
I was like, what's the point of it, man?
You know, it's triangle.
Whatever, dude.
Triangles are cool.
Here's the thing.
Here's
my actual problem with it is that, so when it's just on his back, it's not a triangle. It's like a hexagon that's vaguely triangle shaped. But then when they get ready to use it, the 3 corners stick out the end and turn it into a triangle. That's the problem that I have with it. If it was just the hexagon and it just lit up the edges like a regular identity disc, then I wouldn't have a problem with it. Because I'd be like, okay, this is a cool, interesting design. It's a fun way to signify that Ares is the master control program, because most of the other programs just have the standard circular discs. It's only him and then Athena later when she becomes the master control, which that's another part that I didn't like, because when she comes through in the real world and she's like, it's my duty to go get the thing. This is after Ares, turns coat or whatever. Evan Peters looks at her and is like, you got to get this job done. Isn't that right? Master control program. And then she goes and looks at her disc. And I'm like, first of all, your head couldn't turn enough that you would see it. And 2, would you not already know?
Yeah.
And if the camera had just like panned to her back to show the disc, then that would have been fine. But it was the fact that she was like, you can't see that. You got big shoulder pads. You got a big helmet on top of that. You got no idea. It made me mad. But
some good things about the movie.
It's just it's the triangular bits on the end that really bother me, because they're completely unnecessary, and I just don't like the way that they look.
That's fair. All right.
It's not like they make the disc more deadly, because if you have a thin line or whatever, like the regular identity discs do, that will still De-Rez any program.
So before this movie, I thought this kind of worked like the beams that come off of like their vehicles and stuff. I thought once you touch them, you're just kind of cooked. You're just gone. Like you touch it, you're gone. Your finger's gone. And then of course it finishes it. But if you're a human, you just baked your finger off. I thought that's how it worked. I thought it worked like a lightsaber. I am sorely mistaken.
Well, I think in Tron Legacy, there's a moment where they're bouncing off of it or something too. I could be wrong about that.
That's right, in the light cycle. like actual arena scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. They like tighten up on a guy, and
he's like bouncing back and
so
forth.
I forgot about
which
that.
I think makes more sense, and honestly to me makes it a little bit cooler.
Yeah, it's
because
cool.
it makes it the type of thing where if you're the guy who's trying to De-Rez another guy, you've got to be a little bit smarter about it. You got to plan where you're going to do your turns and stuff. And also it leads to a pretty cool scene in this movie when Ares and Athena are first sent to the real world to chase after Greta Lee, who's they've just found out has the permanence code or whatever. She's riding away on Athena's light cycle, and Ares is like trying to follow her. And there's a moment where they take a really sharp corner in the middle of an intersection, and we see like a regular car sort of ride up on the side of the light trail and then flip over or whatever.
That was cool.
I thought that was cool. Not only did it look cool, but it's also one of those things that like, okay, well that makes logical sense, because when you're turning the light cycle, it would naturally like tilt a little bit. And so to see the light trail actually reflect that, I thought was a fun little detail.
I thought they got really creative with the fighter jet scene. And the fighter jet gets stuck in that 4-way like light beam thing from the other. Like it's not really a jet, the light beam jet thing.
Yeah,
it's like a flight suit.
Yeah, kind of like a glider, a powered glider or something like that.
Yeah, you know, like from Fortnite.
Sure,
I just wanted to say that, bro. I just wanted to.
Whatever, man.
So. 4 beams come off of it.
I thought you were going to say Fortnite again. So I thought you were like, so in Fortnite.
So 4 light beams come off. There's a jet. Its wings are caught in between it. And then it's like wobbling, and then it just slices the thing once it goes upward.
Yeah, it pulls up really quick.
Yeah, it's really cool. I thought that was creative.
I thought that was a cool scene. I think I would have liked it more if it hadn't been in the trailer, and so I hadn't seen it about 6 or 8 times already.
No, there was so much that was put in the trailer from this movie, and every time I see it, I was like, I remember that.
Yeah. Which, I mean, what are you gonna do? I guess.
Like it spoiled Athena's death for me.
I was trying to figure out if that shot was in the trailer, because I thought I remembered seeing that, but I wasn't 100% sure.
I was like, when's it gonna rain? Because there's that scene in the trailer where like she's like screaming and there's like water droplets all over her helmet.
Yeah. Okay, here's something about that made me mad. The sprinklers turned on at such a coincidental moment.
Dude.
Like they've been throwing stuff around. She crashed in through the window like 5 minutes ago. We've seen plenty of smoke and fire already, and it waits like 5 to 7 minutes before the sprinklers go off. That made me mad. And a way to make that slightly less grating to me, you just have Seth sort of crawl over, pull the fire alarm.
Yeah, that could have been.
It's a 2-second insert, and it makes it less coincidental.
No, but Seth was a little baby. He just laid there and cried.
Speaking of being little babies and having terrible acting, there's a moment at the end after all of the Dillinger programs are defeated, where Ares and Eve, Jared Leto and Greta Lee are like leaning up against a car sitting on the ground, and Greta Lee goes, I think one of my ribs is broken.
Oh, yeah.
The delivery was so effing bad. I almost just cursed. I was so mad.
You're so mad. Yeah.
It was really unfortunate.
I thought we were going to see Sam. Thought we were going to see a little cameo Sam.
We did a little bit at the very end.
Well, and I thought,
and the beginning.
Yeah, just 2 photos, which is cool. But I thought, maybe we'd see him pop his head out.
It was a little frustrating for me that literally all the mention we get of Sam. All the mention of the entire movie is just Sam's missing now too. Oh no! Now we have new heads. Like we have new heads of the company. And I felt like that Eve honestly didn't really get that much development. No. It's another thing where we just got expo dumps. And in one case, the expo dump makes sense because it's Ares literally learning about her, trying to locate her. So that level of expo dump makes a little bit of sense. But I felt like throughout the whole movie, she did not do any job really whatsoever to signify the fact that she was going through some trauma because her sister died.
Yeah.
There's never really a single moment. Not a single tear falls down that cheek. Not a single moment where she chokes up. Even when they're in the car afterwards and Ares is being a jerk to her about it, she's just like, yep.
I don't. You're so mean.
You're right. She's just like, yep, you're right. And then that's it. Like, there's no emotion whatsoever there.
Yeah. Yeah. I would delete him after that. A lot of intense clicking in this from what's it?
Anybody.
Mostly
from Evan Peters.
Every time he would press enter, every time, boom, slammed it right into the glass. It was fun.
One thing that we mentioned in the non-spoiler review is the soundtrack from 9 Inch Nails.
Yes.
It was really, really good.
So good.
There was only one moment where I was like, I don't really like this.
Really?
And I think it was and it's not necessarily the fault of the soundtrack, it's the scene itself, but I think it is that jet ski chase moment.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're just having like basically a casual conversation when, again, it should feel like really intense because they're getting chased by like 8 programs or whatever. But they're just having a casual convo, and the music, there's a moment where it switches to like a high synth or something like that, and it's like really light and airy, and that I didn't like. But basically every other instance of the music in this movie I enjoyed.
Would you prefer 9 Inch Nails for if they do a sequel? Would you prefer 9 Inch Nails or would you prefer Daft Punk?
9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is that I'm biased because I don't like Daft Punk really at all. That's just not the style of music that I enjoy. And I certainly wouldn't consider myself like a big 9 Inch Nails fan. Like, I don't often listen to their music, but if a 9 Inch Nails song comes on, I'm gonna bump to it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, I like 9 Inch Nails infinitely more than I like Daft Punk because I really don't like Daft Punk.
That's fair. I went through a really big... Sorry, I didn't mean to...
No, go ahead.
I went through a really big Daft Punk phase in high school. I don't know if you remember this at all.
I do, unfortunately.
But I love Daft Punk mainly because of they did a lot of artwork and cool animations for their music videos, and I thought they were so cool. One of my favorite songs when I was really, really young, I mean, we're talking before divorce days.
Oh my God. That's so crazy.
I would listen to Get Lucky all the time.
That's so crazy.
But
you know my favorite Daft Punk song? The one that and I don't even like the Daft Punk version, but the one that Kanye uses.
Oh yeah.
What song is that? Is that Power?
I thought it was Bigger, Better, Faster, Harder. Power. It's Power.
Anyways, and I don't really like that Kanye song all that much.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's
a good song to play if you're about to play some basketball, you know.
Yeah, what album? My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fan. What an album, dude.
Yeah,
anyways, fun fact about 9 Inch Nails. Normally when the two guys whose names I don't remember anymore, even though I just had them pulled up and I was just looking at them, Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor, they have done a couple like movie soundtracks before, and normally they're credited as their usual names, but Disney specifically asked if they could be credited as 9 Inch Nails for this.
Oh, cool.
Because I don't know if it's cool.
Okay.
To me, it's just because they wanted to be able to say that our soundtrack is by 9 Inch Nails because people know 9 Inch Nails, and almost nobody knows the names Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor.
Oh yeah.
It was pure marketing.
Never mind. Yeah, that's not cool.
Well, I mean, it's a smart decision.
Is it cool or is it not?
It's a
cool?
smart decision, but I just think it's funny that almost every other time they're credited as their usual names, and Disney was like, nah, 9 Inch Nails.
You know how Disney is, though.
Yeah,
they get what they want.
Yeah,
you do what Disney says. Unless they contact us, we're not going underneath the foot of the mouse.
I don't know, dude. He's coming for you, you big cheese. All right. So we're going to go ahead and start to slowly close things out. Shayde, who do you think is the best actor in Tron Ares?
I'm going to say, see, it's tough. Believe it or not, the acting in this wasn't phenomenal. So, but yet there is still two actors that I'm caught in between. Probably Evan Peters.
Yeah, I think that's really the only choice.
I was gonna say Jared Leto, but I can't.
I think Jared Leto's performance was really bad.
I can't. Greta Lee, she wasn't even.
I was expecting so much from her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah.
Because I kind of like Greta Lee.
Oh wait, really quick, we didn't even talk about this.
Jeff Bridges?
No, Cal Kestis.
I was gonna make a joke about that in a minute.
God damn it.
Yo, you completely stepped on my toes there. Because I think I was gonna say the obvious choice is Evan Peters, but I was gonna do the same thing that I do in like every other video when the other person says the same answer as me. I was gonna go honorable mention Cameron Monaghan, who's only in it for 30 seconds. You son of a... Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
He's only in it for 30 seconds.
Almost. That's a set down, not a set up. My bad.
Spiked that joke right into the ground.
Well, yeah. So Cameron Monaghan.
I think it's technically Monaghan.
He was in it for 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Walked a little bit, groaned. Did his things.
But here's what I will say. I will always be an advocate for Cameron Monaghan because obviously we like him from Star Wars Jedi.
I was just about to say.
I want him to get much more money. I want him to get more roles because I haven't really, honestly, I think I've seen him in one thing that isn't... Oh, that's right. I forgot he was the Joker who they never call the Joker in Gotham.
Yeah, but he did a good performance.
Yes, I think I've seen some of I think I saw the beginnings of that character before I stopped watching the show, but I never actually saw him turn into, again, the Joker that they weren't allowed to name the Joker.
He plays like 2 different roles in that movie. It's really cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He has the Joker in that as a brother.
Oh, okay.
Twin brother. But
I don't really like that. Yo, he was Commandy. That's pretty sick. I love Commandy. I'm going to go on about Commandy for a couple hours, though. Last Boy on Earth.
I feel like him being in Tron Ares could, maybe he was on set of a Star Wars film that is being filmed currently really close to Tron Ares. They needed someone to fill in. He was over there playing as Cal Kestis and just filled in a spot.
We can only hope.
I want to see him in live action so bad. It's such a good role.
He's so good in those games.
He's so good. And he is such a nerd. He loves Star Wars so much. It fits him so perfectly. And I think it's a good enough character to be in a show or a movie.
Mm-hmm. Cal Kestis, yeah, he's one of those characters who, like, I absolutely want to see somewhere because, yeah, like you said, there's so much there. Those two, I haven't played the second one, so I shouldn't say that.
Yeah,
that first game is so good, and there's so much time in between the first and the second game. Not to mention how much time happens after the second game. Like, I think there's an easy spot for him to be slotted into like an Ahsoka season 2 or even like The Mandalorian and Grogu.
I think Ahsoka he should be brought into.
I still haven't seen the first season of Ahsoka.
Oh shit.
I would like for her though to meet another Jedi. And not like a Baylan Skoll and whatever that other lady's name is. Okay. Like people who are like villains or whatever. I would like for her to meet somebody who uses the light side of Shin Hati, that's what her name is.
What'd you call me?
Somebody who uses the light side of the Force. But yeah, we can only hope. I hope he makes at least a brief appearance in Mandalorian and Grogu. It could also be just something that it was in the contract when he signed on for the games that they were like, we got to put him in a live action thing somewhere.
Yeah, no, I know. Brennan.
Shayde.
What was your favorite? What do you think was the best scene in the film?
I think the best scene, it's a bit of a tough choice. I think I'm going to go with that scene where Cal Kestis gets murked after.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Not specifically that moment, although that's a good moment, but that whole fight scene after Ares takes the file and they're trying to get out, and there's like 6 programs, and they have to fight against literally like 50 of the NCOM programs.
That was pretty cool.
I thought that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. I agree. Like a little war between programs. That was dope.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it was a cool showcase to see again 6 people against 50. Like again, it hits home that the Dillinger programs are made for explicitly military purposes, and so of course they are the best soldiers in the whole world.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't think of it like that. So yeah.
And then I was also going to say when Cal Kestis dies, Caius is his name in this movie. When Cal dies, I'm just going to keep calling him Kestis.
Yeah.
When he dies in this movie, that is the first moment where Ares realizes, oh, we really are 100% expendable. Because they get back to the Dillinger server, they all get redone after he basically nukes the NCOM server. They all get reconstituted, and Ares specifically asks why Caius wasn't brought back. And Julian Dillinger says it's because he had a malfunction. And he's like, I'm more curious as to like why you care.
Yeah.
If you've got a malfunction, I'll get rid of you. Because why? And Ares goes, we're 100% expendable. And Julian Dillinger goes, sounds right, bud.
Dang. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I think that's my pick.
Okay.
What's yours?
My pick, this scene, this specific, very specific thing that happens on a bike really tops off the cake of this scene. And I guarantee you, when this specific thing happened, you probably thought in your head, oh, Shayde, I guarantee you got chills. So my favorite scene is when Ares is on the light bike chasing Greta Lee through town, and specifically the part where he turns on the light and it cuts the cop car in half.
Oh, the first time.
Yeah, already really cool. Already made that scene sick. I already liked that scene a lot. But to top it off, he goes into the Akira slide. Yo, when that happened, I was like, oh yes, this is peak performance. This is peak cinema.
This is the best Jared Leto has ever done.
I mean, come on, bro. I mean, almost as good as Morbius.
It's Morbin time.
It's Morbin time.
It's program time.
It's program time. But yeah, that was cool. And I also thought that the slow motion with, I usually don't like slow-mos, but the slow motion with the cop car looked really good. It was really cool, even though we saw that in the trailer. In fact, I think that was the very first little snippet of advertisement we even got for this film. But still so cool to see. Looked great, and it was our first time seeing the actual light come out of the bike in this film. So I was like, this is cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And it's a very fun, again, I don't like the execution of it, but it's a fun idea to see the programs in the real world. And so it was a really cool juxtaposition to see for the first time these light cycles on the streets with like regular cop cars. And then, that moment in particular, when you turn on the trail is so cool because you're like, oh man, the game is coming through. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said, even though we see it in the trailer, it's one of those moments that it would have been really easy for it to be stupid, but the effects of it work so good.
And I assume you already know this, but the light cycles were fully practical, which is really cool. And I love that they went practical for the light cycles. And you can tell that they're real. You can tell they're practical.
Well, yeah, they interact with the world really well, which is always like a telltale sign when you're dealing with something that's CGI.
One thing that I always look out for when it comes to movies and like highly used CGI is reflection. Like reflection gets messed up pretty easily when it comes to CGI. They did so good with this, and part of that is because of practical.
See, that's really funny that you go for the reflection, because the first thing that I always look for is the shadows.
Really? Okay.
I look for the shadows, and especially like in Jurassic Park when somebody puts their hand on a dinosaur, I'm like, where is the shadow as their hand moves closer?
Also outlines. Like I look at the outline of the person just to see if I see a little cutout or a snippet or anything that looks out of place. But they did really good with that in this film.
For sure.
The look of it, they really nailed.
There's by my reckoning, there's really only one moment of CGI. Well, there's a few moments where it looks really bad. at the end of that chase sequence when Greta Lee goes flying off of the light cycle and ends up in like a recycling bin or a big trash can or whatever, when she's flying, stupid. It looks terrible.
Yeah, it looked really bad.
When Seth throws the orange after they first bring in the tree, looks stupid.
Yeah.
It's flies so straight.
Yeah.
And then the part in the beginning which really set off like, okay, this is maybe going to have some good moments, but this is going to be a rough movie to watch, was that beginning expo dump going through the sort of more the Matrix style, intro sequence, and we see all of these news sequences or whatever. Every single one of the heads looks so horrible.
I sat there and I thought to myself, I was like, maybe this was a stylistic choice.
I sat there and I was like, oh man, are we going to be in for another Tron Legacy where we're going to see a lot of de-aged people that look really bad?
Yeah, that was bad.
That was tough. But by and large, I think final thoughts on the movie is that it
six identity discs out of 10.
Okay, I can respect that. I can respect that because it does look and sound really great. The acting is bad, the writing is bad, but it's super fun to watch.
It is. I will go back and watch it solely just because of the music and
solely.
Damn, I did it again. Solely. Everyone flame me in the comments just so I can get it down. The sole fact is music. I forgot. Music. I'll definitely go back to it just for the music and the look of the film.
Mm-hmm.
The acting is bad, writing is bad, but it's still fun, still looks good, and the music sounds great. Also, the sound effects really cool.
Mm-hmm. It's got really good sound editing and mixing. One thing I will say is that if they do make a sequel, and I do a whole series rewatch, I will watch the first one closely. I'll watch the second one a little less closely, and then this one I will probably put on in the background and pay attention. When it first comes on streaming, I will watch it again and watch it closely just to see if I have the same feeling as in the theater. But after that, if I'm doing a rewatch, I will just put it in the background because I just have to watch through the whole series before the next one.
Okay.
For me, the look and the great soundtrack is not enough to really get past just how god awful the dialogue is.
Okay, that's fair.
Personally.
Yeah.
But a potential Tron Ares sequel is what we're going to be talking about in our Patreon exclusive.
Yes, sir. Sorry. I did it again.
But... So, if you want to hear that, then you're gonna have to go on. You're screwing me up. If you want to hear that, you're gonna have to and see that. I suppose you're gonna have to go head on over to patreon.com/newwavenerds. For every single one of the main episodes, we do an extra 20 to 30 minute discussion. And while the audio on the previous one was horrible, I still think we had a really, really good talk about what we would like to possibly see. And we came up with some good ideas for what should be in a future Tron game. So we've got a lot of fun over there, and we curse sometimes.
We're unhinged.
We are unhinged.
Unhinged.
Do you remember when we were doing a plug like a couple episodes ago? And no, this might have been in the actual Patreon, and you were talking about it. This is the one that I let you do the intro for, and you're like, "We're here on the Patreon. We're unhinged and unpantsed."
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, no, I have my pants on.
When you just looked down at my pants, I thought about another pants joke. And I was going to make another pants. I was going to look down at yours and be like, where do your pants go?
Where are your pants?
Where are your
De-Rez. All right. We're going to go ahead and end it there. But the conversation is not going to end. So if you want to hear what else we have to say, that's you're going to have to go on over to our Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate all of you who do that. And those of you who don't, I get it.
It's understandable.
It's fine for now. We'll get better at this.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Or we'll get worse. But either of those is a possibility.
It's true.
But again, comment down below what you think of Tron Ares, if you agree that this may have De-Rez the entire franchise, or if it's actually one of the best movies made in 2025. One of those is incorrect. I'll let you figure out which one.
Yeah.
But yeah, comment down below, like and subscribe for more nerd content and commentary, and we will see you guys next week and talk more about all things nerd.